What's up, guys? Our Wrestling Podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious, along with Just the Total Package and the Nature Boy Joe, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Today's topic, whatever happened to Hercules Hernandez? For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, can you give us a follow on Instagram at O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook or X at Our Wrestling Podcast. Jess, why Hercules Hernandez? What's going on?
Who's Hercules?
Who's Hercules? I don't know.
I don't know what you're saying, but I do.
He's one half of this. One half of my Secret Shame, Power, and Glory. I know that.
I do know that we're talking about this guy. I don't know if this
guy.
Hercules.
Hercules.
He's so happy.
Yeah.
Hercules. Oh, let's go up.
Whoa, we're zooming right into those pearly whites there, buddy.
Yeah. Hercules, man. Everybody knows who Hercules is. Okay, maybe not at all, but I'm just saying we know who Hercules is.
I don't know, man. Hercules was definitely one of those guys where you just kind of wonder why it didn't work out. Like he definitely was on some main events.
Fine. I think he worked out fine.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think for what he was, it was like he had a great career. You know, I mean,
there you go. Yeah. But
made a lot of money in the 80s and 90s.
And he was around. He was around, midway during the 80s boom. So I mean, I think, what are you going to do? I think a lot of people would kill for his career.
Yeah, big time.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I'm sure he got paid out pretty good. Well, shit, man. Let's just.
I mean, saving your money, and I'm not suggesting he didn't save his money. Saving your money is a different story, but he made money.
Hercules Hernandez was actually Raymond Constantine Fernandez.
Not true. So his taxes.
Whoa. Fernandez was born in New York City on May 7th of 1956. After his mother had died from cancer, he was at the age of 6. His father relocated the family to Tampa, Florida, where he attended A.P. Leto High School, where he competed in amateur wrestling. He graduated from high school in 1974 and enlisted in the United States Air Force for 3 years. Thank you for your service. Fernandez was trained to wrestle Hiro Matsuda. He started wrestling in 1979, mainly performing in Florida and Texas territories as Hercules Hernandez. In January of 1983, Fernandez toured Japan with All Japan because what happens, Jess?
All the great in Japan.
Go to Japan. They go to Japan. That's right. In JCP, Fernandez was paired up with Jody Hamilton, who had been wrestling as the Masked Assassin. Fernandez became the Masked Assassin 2, a gimmick that had been played by several other wrestlers over the years. The two competed at the first ever Starrcade, beating the team of Rufus R. Jones and Bugsy McGraw. Yeah, those names are.
He was at the first ever Starrcade. I don't remember that. I'm going to go back and watch that shit.
Yeah,
and
I don't remember that.
Under a mask. I don't remember that at all. That's crazy.
But yeah, well, I think to your point, if he's Masked Assassin 2, you might have missed him, right? So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
There you go. Yeah, I gotta check that one out. Show the video now. There you go. After being on Masked, Fernandez moved to Bill Watts Mid-South promotion, where he once again donned a mask as Mr. Wrestling 2, had recently turned on his tag team partner Magnum TA, and became
unmasked in the other promotion. And then he's like, well, my time here is done. And they're like, all right, bye. And then he goes to other territory. They're like, we have an idea for you. We're going to put a mask on you. He's like, I just fucking got done doing that, man.
I just did that. Mr. Wrestling 2 renamed himself simply Mr. Wrestling and got a new protege, Mr. Wrestling 2, who was Fernandez under a mask. That's funny. Later on, Fernandez unmasked and competed once again as Hercules Hernandez and feuded with Hacksaw Jim Duggan under the tutelage of Jim Cornette.
Again, this is kind of cool shit. Jim Cornette managed Hercules at a point. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, who ever do this, right?
That's cool.
Championship Wrestling from Florida. Hercules quickly won the NWA Florida Southern Heavyweight Championship from Brian Blair, then won the NWA Florida Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, from Hector Guerrero the following month. This made him a double champion. Sometime during July of '85, Hernandez was fired from CWF after a dressing room fight with Wahoo McDaniel and stripped of both titles. Well,
Wahoo, you shit disturber.
I feel like it's all Wahoo's fault.
It is. I don't know, I blame it. It's all Wahoo's fault. They're fucking dicking around in the back. What the fuck?
Yeah. But, things looked up pretty quick because Fernandez...
Hercules should have fought him with his mask on, and then nobody would have knew who he was. Hercules' problem. They put him in a mask twice.
Like, where's my mask? We don't left it in the car.
So one of the fucking Mr. Wrestlings came in here and punched Wahoo in the face. They're like, I don't know which one it was.
I would have had my mask, but I had to pay my taxes earlier, and I just didn't have any money left over.
He's fine on his taxes. That's why the mask came into play.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Wish I would have wrote that off.
Is my mask really written off? I don't know. Fernandez debuted in WWF in 1985, managed by classy Freddie Blassie. His first major national exposure came when he competed at WrestleMania 2 in a losing effort against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat at the Sports Arena in the Los Angeles part of the show. Blassie soon retired. In storyline, he sold his stable to Slick, and Fernandez soon found himself floundering in the WWF mid-card. Sold his stable to Slick.
Dave, we reviewed WrestleMania 2 on Daily Motion, and we reviewed the match of Hercules and Ricky Steamboat.
Right. And, Jess said the LA part of the show, it aired in, 3 different places, WrestleMania?
Yeah, WrestleMania 2 in 3 obnoxious locations, yes.
Yeah, never do it again. Don't ever do that again.
Yeah, don't ever do that again.
Terrible idea.
Terrible idea, in hindsight.
Vince,
in 1986...
WrestleMania will never work, Vince.
Yeah, you get told one thing, you're going to try something else, and they're not all gyms, people.
3 locations, you idiot. It'll never last.
Not to mention during doing a tournament WrestleMania 4, not a good idea, but we did it.
And we went through all that shit, and still WrestleMania is the greatest goddamn thing on the planet every year.
Yep. We went to WrestleMania 9.
We suffered through that shit, by the way. We joined around WrestleMania 4, 5 era. So all these people now who are fucking wrestling fans and in their teens and 20s, fuck you. You didn't have to fucking suffer. Did you have to suffer through WrestleMania 2 at 3 locations? No. Did you have to suffer through WrestleMania 4, a 19-hour tournament? No. You didn't. So fuck off.
Did you have to watch WrestleMania 9 and 11 and parts of 12 and parts of 13?
No, you didn't. You idiots. Just fucking idiots.
Don't forget to follow and subscribe, guys, by the way, after that.
Be it. Idiot. Click the idiot button at the bottom.
Oh, man. In 1986, however, his contract was sold by Slick to fellow heel manager Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Right. In the 80s?
Just some people.
Vince is like, I want to switch a guy from one stable to another. Bobby, come here. Slick's going to sell his shit to you, so go out and we're going to film it right now. And he's like, all right. You did that fucking 6 months ago when Blassie sold his shit to Slick. And he's like, that's what we're doing. And it's a whole thing.
It's just how it works. It's going to make sense.
Storyline. Heel managers sell each other's shit. That's what heel managers do.
It's going to make sense out of it. It's going to make sense. Soon after, not Heenan, but Fernandez dropped the Hernandez from his ring name. He began carrying a long steel chain to the ring and reemerged with a more muscular physique. I'm not sure how that happened, but he was just Hercules.
Different water in WWF.
Yeah, I'm sure it was whey protein.
WWF had filtered water. Nobody else had filtered water. If you catch my drift.
That's the secret. He would challenge Hulk Hogan for the WWF Championship at house shows in an episode of Saturday Night's Main Event. His most notable feud came against Billy Jack Haynes in late '86. The two would face off at WrestleMania 3 in front of 93,000 plus fans. The match would end in a double countout. Which
I love that match, actually. I really legitimately enjoy their match for WrestleMania 3. We reviewed WrestleMania 3 and I never aired it. Maybe we'll review it again this year.
I'm down. But
I think the audio was fucked up or something on the recording, or we took too long or something like that. I don't remember why I never aired it, but
be down with that. Was that the match where they had it was a full Nelson challenge, like whoever got the other person a full Nelson?
It wasn't a challenge, so that was a lead up. That was a lead up to it on the video package.
Yeah.
And then I think Heenan hit Billy Jack Haynes from behind, and that's when Hercules blasted him with the chain or something. And then at Mania 3, it ended in a double countout, which was shitty, but they were super stiff in the match. I loved all their spots they did, and then Hercules hit him with the chain at the end of the match at WrestleMania 3, and Billy Jack got color.
Billy Jack wants to have Hercules apply the hold. I think Heenan's not too anxious. Look, he's saying no. Whoa, baby!
Oh, he didn't give him a full Nelson, he gave him a clothesline. Come on! Of which Billy Jack had it coming. He started it.
Had it coming?
He started it. He pushed Heenan. There's the full Nelson. Billy Jack Haynes is going out.
Well, I guess so, but he wouldn't have been going out.
Well, I guess that proves it, McMahon. No doubt about it. Hercules is stronger.
In the early part of '88, during an episode of WWF Superstars of Wrestling, Hercules was swinging his chain in the direction of another muscular power wrestler, the Ultimate Warrior. That is a little reckless. Warrior caught the chain, and the two began a tug of war, which led to the steel chain snapping in the middle. That's actually a pretty cool visual.
Wasn't gimmick. About it.
Yeah, of course not. Never. The broadcast commentators gave credit to the Warrior for snapping the chain, to the chagrin of Hercules and Heenan. Though heel commentator Jesse Ventura contended it looked like both Hercules and the Warrior was the ones to break the chain and not just Warrior.
Warrior back on his feet. Yanks. Oh my goodness! Can you believe that? The Warrior yanked that chain so hard he broke it in two. Hercules charging the Warrior.
This led to their grudge match.
What a simple time where they could
start. We were arguing about who broke the chain.
Actually, you had to be both of them. Wham! And that was their feud. And they're like, well, we'll have a match at WrestleMania. Who broke the chain? That was their feud. Who's stronger? Who really broke this fucking chain?
That's long-term storytelling right there.
I love it.
And I'm trying to recall the time frame for it's WrestleMania 4. So Warrior's not IC champion, right?
No, this was a year before. No, not quite a year before. He beat Honky at SummerSlam of '88. So Warrior was champion 5 or 6 months later. He was IC champion.
So that was this was
the match with him and Hercules WrestleMania 4 was not a part of the tournament and was knock knock who's there awful. So
and it with Warrior pinning Hercules after pushing him from off the turnbuckle while Hercules was in full Nelson and landing on top of him. Yeah,
you know what they called that move?
Hot garbage.
The awful cradle, the hot garbage cradle. I just took I was going to say the awful cradle, but it's the hot garbage cradle.
Hot garbage cradle. During the fall of '88, Bobby Heenan sold Hercules. Hercules is getting sold around. It's just now he's getting sold.
Selling people. He feels like selling people.
Weird. DiBiase claimed that in Hercules he had now purchased his own slave. I can't.
Dave, it was 1988.
I know. DiBiase is just terrible. It's, the whole, I don't want to get into it. The would-be transaction failed because Hercules resisted the proceedings, which angered him. He stated that he was owned by no man and instantly returned face to feud with DiBiase.
The new position you have right now is something, buddy, something that you've earned. No!
Now, Hercules, learn your position. Take your first lesson of being the slave of the $1 million man. You don't talk, you don't walk, you don't speak, you don't put your hands on anybody unless I give you permission to. Do you understand that, slave? Do you understand?
What is that? Oh, come on! DiBiase, have it
away! Stand up for yourself.
Yeah, in the summer of 1990, Hercules turned heel alongside Paul Roma.
He sold himself to Paul Roma.
Formed Power and Glory, managed by Slick. They had a high-profile feud with the Rockers, defeating them at SummerSlam in Philadelphia, and challenged WWF World Tag Team Champions, the Hart Foundation. I've said this over and over. We actually did an episode in the archives called our Secret Shames, and this tag team is my secret shame. I love
Power and Glory. I've never heard you talk about Power and Glory.
Huh? Okay. Secret pleasure, right? Yeah.
Guilty pleasure or secret pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Yeah.
Because you're not ashamed, Dave. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Don't run away from your feelings.
I've never heard you talk about Power and Glory ever.
No.
Never talk about Power and Glory.
Never, not once.
Had one of the best finishing maneuvers as a tag team at that time, in my opinion.
Saying all of this for the first time right now. I've never.
Yeah, you're so shocked, right?
Yeah.
What was the indie move, Joe?
It was Paul Roma, who is fucking grossly underrated. He's so fucking athletic.
Yeah, that's true.
He superplexed some poor bitch from the top rope, and then the other way around.
No. Hercules superplexed them, and then Roma comes up with the
some
splash.
Poor soul from the top rope, and then Roma kind of right after he landed would try to connect with the splash and timed that out. It was really fun. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was a great move. At WrestleMania 7, though, they lost the Legion of Doom in less than a minute. So
everything's fine.
Getting right into that, I know Jess and I have talked about this in the realm of, our guilty pleasures, and the biggest thing about Power and Glory that happened was they got over, and as a tag team, that's a heel tag team, Vince was very heavily controlling everything. And if you got over naturally, he didn't like it. So when they were starting to get cheered during road shows and other places, Roma goes to the back and goes, "This is great." Hercules like, "No, it's not. We're dead. We're dead."
Then I just went to the office and said, "Hey, listen, why don't you put, Ray's dead in the water. I'm dead in the water. Why don't you put us together and call us Power and Glory?"
So that was your name?
That was my name. And Pat was like, "Wow." He goes, "You came up with that?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "So who's the Power? And I guess you're the Glory, right?" Like that. And I said, "Yeah." I said, and the whole thing behind it would be, my big man will never get beat. I'll always take the fall. And when we win, no, even if Ray goes to pin the guy, he gets off the guy and gives me the tag, and I walk in and I pin him.
Because if you're a heel tag team, you don't get cheered, and Vince is going to squash it. And sure enough, you get fed to Legion of Doom, and then they start, jobbing out, and that tag team is kind of gone well before it should have been.
Vince, he hated tag team division anyway. He didn't give a shit.
He really didn't. He really didn't. And
I mean, everybody was going to get fed to LOD when they got in there, but they just kind of shit on him after that.
French Canadian Rougeaus are booed and Killer Bees are cheered, and that's what he bought in his head the entire time. So he's like, if you're in the middle, you're fucked. It's like, what?
Yeah. No, it's very true. After SummerSlam of '91, Hercules spent the rest of his time in WWF jobbing once again, losing to wrestlers such as the Bushwhackers, Jim Neidhart, the Boss Man, and Sid Justice, and the Intercontinental Champion Bret Hart. I'm okay with the last three. I'm not good with any of the other ones.
Losing the Bushwhackers.
That's terrible. And Jim Neidhart, come on, man. I mean, everybody. I guess.
I feel like Hercules and Jim Neidhart are probably on the same level.
And he was way past his deal here, his prime.
Yeah.
I mean, Hercules I always enjoyed his matches. I mean, his number one thing, you know what his number one downfall was? Tanning salon, dude. Tanning salon. He was white. He was like Sheamus. Pasty, uncomfortable. Like before it was cool with Sheamus. Tried it, and it just, you can't be called Hercules, which is like a Greek god, and then be pasty white, like blinding milky white.
I feel like he would try the tanning salon, and he would just be like beet red too. It was
but he's Hispanic, right? He should have tanned up nicely.
He didn't though. I mean, not. Well, Joe, you're going to Spain. You know that not everybody that's Spanish tans up well. If you're Spanish,
they all like their
no.
Mediterranean, brother. Mediterranean.
I don't know about that. There were times I remember where Hercules would try to get he would try to go to the tanning salon, and he would just be red and super white underneath the lats and stuff. It was really bad. Yeah. His last televised match in WWF was against Sid Justice at Madison Square Garden, where he was squashed in under a minute. A clearly frustrated and fed up Hercules took a powerbomb from Justice, followed by a 3 count, before no-selling the move by simply getting up unhurt and heading for the locker room. Wow.
Wasted any time accepting the challenge of Sid Justice. I'll tell you something about Hercules. This man will fight you. He'll fight you day and night, and he's one big, strong, tough human being. They don't come any tougher than Hercules. Oh, look out! Perhaps the powerbomb! Oh, yes! I can't believe it! It's over! Nobody's ever beaten Hercules that quick. Holy mackerel!
And after being there for 7 years, Hernandez signed with World Championship Wrestling. He once again adopted a masked persona, this time as Super Invader, a supposed Oriental assassin under the management of former rival Harley Race.
He wore women's pantyhose on his head.
That's true.
I'm not even kidding.
You're not kidding, I know. He would never rise above lower mid-card status or remove his mask there. In March of 93, Hernandez debuted in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he appeared as Hercules Hernandez once more, mainly teaming up with fellow powerhouse wrestler Scott Norton to form the Jurassic Powers. That's kind of a cool name. They won the IWGP Tag Team Championship from the Hellraisers, which was Hawk Warrior and Power Warrior, in August of 93, and held it for about 4 months before losing it back to the Hellraisers. In 99, Fernandez would retire from wrestling after working for various independents across the world. And then we get to the unfortunates. Fernandez did die in his sleep in his home of March of 2004. The cause of his death was attributed to heart disease, according to his wife. We all know how that happens, unfortunately. He was buried with military honors.
Taxes?
Paying your taxes. He's buried with military honors.
When you eat fatty foods.
That's right. And Florida National Cemetery in Bushnell, Florida. Once again, Mr. Fernandez, thank you for your service. But yeah, I'm telling you, it was one of many that.
You guys want to see the Super Invader?
There it is, bro.
Fucking really pantyhose on us. Look at this.
Look
at that situation going on.
Who's he wrestling there? Who is that?
I think Todd Champion, one of the Patriots.
Oh, very nice.
If I'm guessing from the back of the head correctly, I probably am.
Yeah. I would take your word for it.
I'm gonna suck my own dick and say I probably am. What? I remember wrestling. What do you want from me?
Hedgehog.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, I was a fan of Hercules. I always felt. I know you guys like, a great career. I get that, but you always want more for certain people, I think. But like to your point, he had a great career in WWF for 7 years, and you got a chance to wrestle Hogan all over house shows, all over the country. That's not a bad living for a while,
And even when he turned face for a while there, he was in there with people like Earthquake. He was one of Earthquake's first pay-per-view matches.
Yeah, that's right.
Hercules Power and Glory was fun for a while. I mean, it sucks that it didn't go. But they were still house show touring and all that stuff and facing the Rockers everywhere and the Bushwhackers and all that stuff. So they had,
But I think it's to remember too is that like Hercules is part of that, because when he started in 85, 86, or like that's when he moved over to WWF, is that category of wrestler, the Hercules Hernandez, the JYDs, the Coco Bewares, the Duggins, they might not have reached like the heights of within WWF, but they made a lot of money. They had a great career, and they really helped like. Vince just went around and bought up all the good talent in the territories so that when they went to those shows, like they went to Missouri, they went to Arkansas, they went to Oklahoma, whatever, he had their former stars. And like they really cemented, I think it's they're a forgotten legacy of of WWF is those mid-carders that he bought from the territories, made them be able to go into those territories. And yeah, like people want to go see Hogan, but there's a lot of people that went, they're like, oh, Hercules is back. I'm going to go check out Hercules. I'm going to go check out JYD. And I think it's a kind of a forgotten category of like wrestler that helped that early.
It's part of his strategy. That's a good
succeed.
Point. Yeah. It's part of his strategy because Vince just wasn't aimlessly doing this. He's like, well, in order to kick the wall down, I'm going to buy their top talent and then bring them back.
And then bring them back, repackage them a little bit, shine them up, but it's the same guy. So when they get on a poster, people are going to, they're going into wherever Mid-South was. I'm like Missouri or wherever it is, or like wherever Mid-South territory was.
Like Coco,
and they see Hogan versus Hercules Hernandez. People are like, oh shit, Hercules going against Hogan. I can't believe it. Like,
you can't tell me that when they finally got Kerry Von Erich in 1990, that it didn't help their Texas sales. When they would go to Texas,
Well, you put Kerry on the poster there. You put Hercules, the poster in his hometown. You go to Atlanta. I think it was Atlanta where Coco was, and you put him on the poster. But then you introduce everybody along the way to Hulk Hogan was the plan, and everyone's like, look at that guy. That's amazing.
If I'm not mistaken, Hercules did have. I want to say he did. Did he? I want to say yes. I don't know 100% for sure that he had his caricature on a 7-Eleven Slurpee cup. That's a big deal.
Pretty sure he did. I think you're right.
Probably had an ice cream bar.
Ice cream bar?
Yes, he was. Yes. I remember him holding the chains.
Yeah. So
one more thing. He has the CM Punk doesn't have.
He is probably one of my reasons why I did the What Happened To things. It's also to pay tribute to somebody who wasn't quite a world champion, but at the same time, like it's also to be like what happened to people like him and Coco. And all that other stuff, they were very important, back in the day. So it's kind of cool. I really like
build out the card. Imagine going to see that, and it's like, we didn't know who they were from the territories, but like, if you were a fan of the territories and you watched them, and then you're watching WrestleMania, and you're like, Billy Jack Hayne and Hercules are going together.
Yeah.
That was a main event probably in territories. Here it's on the lower end of the card, but like, it just made the card seem like super cards. Like they were just like filled with talent after talent after talent. I'm obviously Vince's brilliant idea, but it's these guys. It's the Hercules Hernandez and like the Duggins and all those guys that really filled out the card and made it layered.
So Hercules not a Hall of Famer, right? Interesting.
No, he's not.
Yeah, maybe someday. Yeah. Maybe they'll induct Power and Glory together. Yeah, Roma can induct them both.
Come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. All righty. Well, for audio fans, catch us on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. Don't forget Instagram at O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast. For Joe, Justin, Dave, this is the O.W.P signing off. Have a good one.